Dracula can't even grow a mustache.
This is true.
No, he can't.
He can only grow a beehive head. Here.
Here we go again with another episode of Comic Books and Cold Ones. This is the podcast where we take advantage of an opportunity to drink a few beers, discuss comic book obscura, and just have a blast. And I'm KMAC, and I'm here with my buddy Yek.
How's it going out, everybody out there in podcast land? Welcome to October.
Yeah, so what have you been up to lately, Yek?
Just finishing off from our last podcast, enjoying some more Thor back issues and reading more about Galactus. But this month I'm moving into October, which is one of my favorite months of the year because it's Boogity time, which brings us to our first ever episode of October episodes that we're going to do. This is Boogity Books and Beer-Tober, bitches.
That's
which
right.
is awesome. So if you don't know about this, I love the Boogity KMAC, and it's always one of my favorite times of year when the fall starts to change and the horror movies start coming on and you start seeing the little goblins and ghouls running about. It's time to read some Boogity books.
Right. And don't you have a tradition where you watch so many horror movies every Halloween?
I do. For those people out there in podcast land, Yek every year tries to watch at least 31 horror movies for the 31 days in October. And I usually try to do some themes with it. So like one year I watched all the Friday the 13th and developed an encyclopedic knowledge of girls' hairstyles and panties from the 1980s all the way up till the 2000s. So I can identify purely by their panties and bras and hairstyles what generation they're from and immediately know whether they would live or die. This year, I'm excited to say I am focusing on a little series I like to call I Did Not See That Coming, where I cover all the World War II zombie Nazi movies and trying to watch them all. And there are a surprising number of some scary number of Nazi zombies out there terrifying the world.
Are there really?
There are at least close to 10 movies involving zombie Nazis of some kind.
So that's almost like a mini genre, right?
Oh yeah. It in and of itself has inspired more and more, and they've been making more and more movies recently. So, in one of the recent ones, there's some mercenaries that I just watched. They're mercenaries fighting zombies that are Nazis, and that one guy gets all excited, going, "We've killed everything else. About time we touched some gloves with some Nazis."
Well, that makes sense.
Which brings us to our episode today, where we are going to cover some Nazis and some skull bashing. But this time we're going across the pond, hopping on our steampunk-powered ship to recount tales of the undead macabre in Victorian London. In a little series, what's this series called?
Well, the series is called Victorian Undead. It was put out by DC Comics around 2010, and it involves... hilariously, it's Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson battling all sorts of evil. And I didn't know about these books before we read them here and before you brought them up, but they were a lot of fun.
They are a fun rip-roaring ride. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan as well as a Boogity fan, so I get Boogity books with Sherlock Holmes. And I will say I do wear some goggles every once in a while and do like steampunk as well. I can't say I am a chemist or an apothecary or any of the other wackadoodle names that people adopt in their steampunk personas. I just kind of like to watch. Do you like to wear goggles every once in a while there, K-Mac?
I'll wear goggles when I'm snorkeling, when we go tubing, things like that, but not usually out and about.
Your name would be the dive bellist because that's what they used to dive back in the day, or the mermanist with all your goggles for scuba diving.
You are a dork.
I am. But that'll be another time when we adapt our own steampunk names. Maybe towards the end of this, we can figure out what we'll be called. But right. I'm also excited for this because this might be a triple for Jeremiah. Boogity books, Sherlock Holmes, and you don't know about this about me, K-Mac, but maybe my favorite style of beer are English bitter beers. I may be one of the few people in the world that likes brown English beers. And this is our chance, since we're going to Victorian London, we get to try some of those fine brews, and that's what we're going to kick off right here. So what are you drinking when we recount these tales here, K-Mac?
Well, you started talking about yours, so you go ahead with yours first.
Well, I am going with one of my favorite English style beers made in the United States, and it is from a little brewery out here in Virginia, and it is appropriately named for zombie head crushing. The brewery's name is Old Bust Head, and this is their flagship beer, just called Bust Head, which is amazing to bust zombie heads with while we recount that tale. It's an English style pale ale. Um, it's kicking in at 5.6% alcohol. I don't know what the hops are on it, and I have not looked them up, but the brewery is located out in Vent Hill, Virginia. I have visited this brewery. This is one of my favorite beers of an American style that actually tries to recreate an English bitter. Still not as good as the English bitters you get on draft in those dirty wooden halls in London or Oxford or Cambridge or any other place over there, but it's a pretty good style. They make them just a little too hoppy here, but it's still pretty good. When I get to the rating, I do like this beer a lot, though. And what are you drinking, KMAC?
Well, it's been a while since I've had something local. And so I'm down in the Tampa area in Florida. We have this brewery here called Coppertail Brewing, and they make this beer called Unholy, which
Ooh,
is what I have for today, which is perfect because they're fighting all sorts of unholiness today in these books.
they are fighting all the undead unholy in ol'London.
It's not a British beer. It's Belgian style
You're a
triple.
British beer.
I am a British beer, but I'm not drinking one today.
What type is it?
It's a Belgian style triple, but they call it an American triple ale, and it comes in at a
Triple ale.
a triple ale, yeah,
Yeah.
American triple ale.
Wow.
That's yeah, and comes in at a monstrous 9.2 ABV.
Ooh, 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 that'll
Yeah,
raise you from the grave if anything will.
right. I'm gonna look like I was pulled out of the grave tomorrow morning, I think.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but
All
this
right.
one's brewed down here in Tampa, so I've been really looking forward to trying this. I may have had it before, but I don't think so. So here's to it, right?
And also, just to remind you guys out there, we post the links to the Beer Advocate reviews of all the beers that we do, as well as links to the breweries and our own silly ratings of these beers on how we like them in accordance with the show. So tune into our website at Buzzsprout. Our other particulars where you can catch us on the social media are...
Well, we're on Twitter, of course, at CBCO_podcast. And we're on the Instagram. Instagram's a lot of fun. www.instagram.com/comicbooks_cold ones. That's where you can find us. And also, wherever you download this podcast, you can access the show notes. And like Yek was saying, the show notes have some information on the podcasts, on the people and places and things we talk about in the shows, and then links to the Beer Advocate sites for these beers. And we do link all the breweries and the beers on the Twitters and Instagrams as well.
And for all our handful of fans out there, before our hands get infested with the zombie virus, a la Evil Dead 2, I'm talking to our fan out there in Boardman, Oregon. Hit us up on the Twitters and the Instagrams and let us know what you think. Suggest some show ideas as well as some beers if you got them.
Yes, beers for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's crack these open.
Right. There we go.
Now, have you ever had an English-style bitter beer, KMAC?
I don't think I have.
I was about to say, yeah, they're not. You don't get many classic ones here. Closest is Bass, maybe, but it's not really truly.
Okay, I've had Bass.
The lovely brown beers you get in England with no head that are served almost room temperature, straight out of the ground.
I thought mine would be darker. It's good.
That's what Sherlock Holmes said about these stories.
I know. Okay. Well, this is really good. Wow.
What, 9%? That's got to be a pretty good beer.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm done. I've had one sip.
Forget going to work tomorrow. So
yeah,
let's kick this one off. So the first in these series is a 6-part tale of Victorian Undead where Sherlock Holmes takes on some zombies. They're just regular zombies, not Nazi zombies like I was talking about earlier, but I think eventually maybe we'll cover some Nazi zombies. But this is a really fun, rip-roaring tale that is actually done really historically accurate. Because just to let you know, there are spoilers involved in the show. We are going to be talking about the comics and their endings, so turn it off if you want to read them later. But with these ones, you already kind of know where they're ending up, so it's just our recounting of the silliness and the fun. So you'll enjoy hearing us talk about them. But they aren't
Right.
really
And
historic. Oh.
these issues are 10 years old also. So if you haven't read them at this point, be spoiled. It's not that big a travesty. Go ahead. Sorry.
But they are historically accurate. And so one of the first things they do cover is like it opens up with a historical tale of Dr. Jon Snow, who's an actual historical character who founded the field of epidemiology, which is all in the news right now with the COVID. So this is the guy we have to relate to our current Dr. Fauci and other people you see on the TV. This was the guy back in the 1850s talking about cholera, and his buddy, Reverend Henry Whitehead, who was local knowledgeable reverend who helped them track down the source of cholera to a town pump. It's a well-studied case, and actually founded a degree of science. But you didn't know, and I didn't know, that it wasn't just cholera that came from that pump. What else came from near that pump?
Oh man, so there was a green comet or asteroid that yep, a little particle of it went through that pump on Baker Street and infected the townspeople in that area with some kind of zombie or alien zombie virus.
Alien zombies.
Alien zombies. Winter is coming, Jon Snow.
And so that's where we open up, and then we flip over to Sherlock Holmes and the tale of the 1890s and the hilarity and fun and rip-roaring good time that they'd have to do to what happens with those zombies that occurred back in that time. So we find out when we're in medias res here, they're digging some stuff under London where they buried all the zombies in the cholera towns underneath it, because London is also known as the city of layers, where they've developed over years and years of empires, and they just bury everything underneath it. And they happen to bury some zombies in, and some tube workers got attacked, which brings in Sherlock Holmes and to investigate what happens. And then all madness ensues when Sherlock Holmes gets caught in the underground. And this is where we see Sherlock Holmes leap into action. As many of you might not know, Sherlock Holmes doesn't like guns, he likes swords. So he's carrying his saber, but Dr. Watson's always crackalacking with his 6-shooter because that's what he's good with. And that's probably the first big boogity part of the book, is they get caught in the underground with these zombies that have just been undug. At least they think they've been undug from previous 50 years ago, which is pretty exciting.
Right. There's an Elizabethan town, essentially, or a street down there in the underground, and they get trapped by zombies, and they're chopping heads off and shooting heads off, and they get pinned into a corner. And then out of nowhere comes the flamethrower Marines, because Britain's ready. They're ready for the zombie attack.
As always, the steampunk comes in, and you get these awesome looking steampunk grenadiers out of nowhere that are wearing. My favorite part of this is the detail on some of the characters. Is they designed for these characters special collars that went all the way up around their necks so the zombies couldn't bite them. Kind of like looking like a bunch of dogs that just got home from the vet, so they can't nip their balls. But in this case, so the zombies can't nick their noses or their ears or their brains. They are protected, and they're using modern weapons like flamethrowers and Gatling guns that they carry around, all steampunky. No, only a few goggles. There are some goggles though for you steampunk fans out there.
Oh yeah, there are goggles. The design is really cool. You're right.
And they just roll through the zombies, and this is the one where Watson and Holmes thought they were all done for, and then of course Holmes knows immediately that somebody is sent for him because he had sent information that he was going to be investigating this, and of course his brother Mycroft comes to his rescue by sending in the grenadiers, and Watson's all flabbergasted that they knew what to deal with what they're dealing with. And then Holmes points out once he meets Mycroft, of course they've dealt with this before because this happened in the 1850s.
Right. So they kind of go through the backstory, and Sherlock and Watson get filled in, and they go to the, how do you say it? The
Diogenes Club, which is straight out of the books, where Holmes, Mycroft's a member, but where only the elite of society are members, and Mycroft is one of the heads, and it's where he spends most of his time anytime that Sherlock wants to meet him. And they go for breakfast, of course, in proper English style.
Right. And later I think it was or like retconned to be a place where the British Secret Service or spy agencies kind of gather and meet their people. But originally, I don't think that's exactly what it was. It was just a club where you went to think and you couldn't talk.
Yeah. Originally, yeah, the big thing about the Diogenes Club, yeah, you were not allowed to speak at all. The reason Mycroft likes it so much because Mycroft doesn't like people. He's a
Right.
misanthrope. He doesn't like. He is supposedly smarter than his brother, but the fact that he can't deal with people is the bad part. Sherlock, being a highly functioning sociopath as he calls himself, um, is even more sociable than Mycroft. But my favorite part about when they go to the Diogenes Club is they of course have some English type of breakfast that Mycroft has, and it's called kidneys and kiddigree. And I've been to London a couple of times, and I've had the full English. I've never had kidneys and kiddigree, which kiddigree, if you don't, kidneys are of course kidneys from a cow, I believe, or a pig. I don't know which one, but the kiddigree is the English version of the KFC bowl. I had to look it up. It's
Oh,
rice,
jeez.
eggs, flake fish, raisins, and curry powder.
Ugh.
Hard boiled eggs.
Watson's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. Like my buddy had this theory that which doesn't apply since this is the case, but that London or England forgot how to cook because of the war. They lost all their cooks during World War II. That's the reason they came up. But obviously, no, because these things were going back to the 1800s when they were making these wonderful, funny things like kidneys and kiddigree. Which, really, honestly, which would you rather have? Straight up, be a zombie eating brains or the kiddigree?
I don't know. It's kind of a toss up. Yeah. Ugh. I don't know. I guess you kind of pinch your nose and you have the brains, right?
Yeah, well, you're getting some good, mental fiber out of the brains. I'm
True.
surprised they didn't take the zombies to be like, "Hey, I kind of like your cooking. we can do something with this.
Yeah.
We can bring brains category. We can give her the kidneys."
Yeah. We can all live together. We'll just eat this stuff. So, one thing you were talking about the steampunk stuff before. One thing we didn't mention at the beginning of this is uh, the case that Holmes and Watson were on right before the zombies. They were investigating this would look to be like a nobleman's home who was having parties and would
Oh yes.
they learned he was stealing secrets somehow, but he turned out to be an automaton,
Oh,
which is a robot that functions as a person, and he would.
and who was this automaton of?
They didn't reveal who it was of right away, and he didn't look like anyone they recognized, but somehow he knew who Sherlock Holmes was.
Mm-hmm. And later we find out it is Sherlock Holmes's arch nemesis, Professor Moriarty, in automaton format, which is awesome. So
Spoiled it for me.
I was upset he wasn't wearing goggles.
Yeah, he should have been wearing goggles. Everyone should be wearing goggles.
So that's pretty balls amazing. And they take down the automaton, and they solve that crime for the day. But back to the Diogenes Club, they realize somebody is making these zombies. They don't know where they're coming from. So Mycroft employs Sherlock and Watson to get to it. And you find out that the zombies they ran into in this underground station were actually a cache developed by zombie Professor Moriarty as a undead bomb to release on London at some time, which happens towards the end of the book.
Right. And Sherlock, uh, obviously, great detective. There didn't seem to be any clues, but he knew that the zombies seemed to be the cadre formed for a specific purpose, not just random zombies down there, even though they really didn't. He's just so good. They don't need to tell us how he knew that.
Well, yeah, he knew they weren't just your average Joe Blow running zombie pack on the earth that most people keep around. When you go dig around the earth, there's a good chance you're going to run into a pack of zombies. It's just
Right. And they'll be unorganized and kind of just wandering here and there. These zombies were organized and had a mission for
and
sure.
they realized that the zombies were also currently made. Some of them because they found a postman with a current postmark date in his bag.
Right. So that was definitely a clue for Sherlock that these zombies didn't go back to 1858
Yeah,
or
and so yeah,
whatever,
they know it.
1854.
Now, a side note to this: if you're in a World War II bunker, there's a good chance you're going to run into zombies that are Nazis. So Sherlock didn't have to worry about that. So this is something that we learned over the years. This is back in the Victorian times. So you had just regular run of the mill English zombies. being stored up as a bomb and a zombie bomb.
Right. No Nazis yet.
Yeah.
So lucky for them, because Nazi zombies,
Yeah.
the
serious
worst.
business. So at the end of this book, they drop the zombie bomb on them on London, which is awesome. And so the zombies start taking over London to make it a necropolis, as they say. Sherlock and Watson and Miss Hudson, the lady of the house that owns the home, 221 Baker Street, gets locked in with them, and they only have so many provisions. But good old Miss Hudson's, in their proper English style, they muscle through it. It's saying they use all the fresh food and make decent English meals while while capping zombies and barricading themselves in.
So the city's going crazy, but Watson and Holmes are just doing research, and she brings lunch.
Yeah.
And then the Marines come to evacuate them, and they gather all their stuff, and they're going into the big Marines zombie tank, and she's carrying two potted plants. That's great. Mrs. Hudson's the best.
Mrs. Hudson's a real G. She's the old
yeah.
school. She don't give a crap. She's like, I already seen so much crazy stuff with Watson and Holmes being my renters. This shit's off the chain. I don't care.
Right. I need my plants.
I need my plants. You know it's indigo. You know she was growing some weed. That's why she's so calm.
Yeah, probably.
But as we're being told this, we get some backstory here where it's recounting how Zombie Moriarty came to be the Lord of the Dead when Holmes and him fought at Rickenbach Falls. Famously, they both go top on the edge. Holmes survives. Nothing knows what Moriarty's supposedly dead. But we find out Moriarty survives because he had been studying the zombies and developed a zombie cocktail and gave it to his friend Colonel Morin, who instantly jabbed it into him, and zombie Moriarty sprang to life. Eventually, first trying to eat Colonel Moran, then came around to his English senses and was like, "Okay, I'm good."
Right. It took him a minute, but he got control over his body. Yeah, and if anyone's seen the Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, they'll remember that scene from the waterfall where they both go over, but Holmes survives.
Yeah. And another reference, even in that movie, there's a reference to a book called I believe it's The Dynamics of Asteroids, or something to that effect, which is written by Professor Moriarty, which is referenced in this book, which turns out this is the reason Moriarty knew about all the zombies that were caused in the 1850s.
Right, and it's also the way Holmes figured out that Moriarty was behind it.
Yes. Very sleuthful. Very.
He's a detective.
Yes. And so we got zombies that have taken over London. The military's trying to cage them in. They whisk Holmes away, I believe, to Windsor Castle to meet with all the officials. And Holmes is like, "Okay, I think we have a little bit of a problem, but everybody's still drinking tea when they want to."
Yeah. So this issue number 5 is when that starts, and this is my favorite cover of the series. So it has Holmes with his saber and Watson with his gun, and they have their overcoats on, and they're all torn and ragged, and you have London behind them with Big Ben, and it looks like they're in front of a necropolis, essentially, like London has fallen, and they're the only two that can help. It's a great cover.
Big Ben, Parliament, zombies.
Right.
Big Ben, Parliament, zombies. Look, kids. Big Ben, Parliament, zombies. Name the movie.
I don't know, but I've heard it.
Chevy Chase, European Vacation. When they get
Okay.
stuck in Piccadilly Square Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't get out of it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament. Look, kids. But also in issue 5, so at the beginning, this is my favorite part of the whole series, is Sherlock Holmes gets up and they're asking for advice, and he gives his ultimate Rocky speech, just like Mick or Apollo's trainer would give. And he goes, "Guys, zombies don't sleep. They don't feel pain. They don't fear. And their ranks swell with every bite and tear. Burn it to the ground."
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I wanted a montage after that of them just training to fight zombies. Or at least sleuthing.
And Sherlock just drops his mic and walks out. He doesn't even wait for an answer. He's like, "Mic drop, I'm out. You figure it out."
Burn that bitch.
I know. So my favorite part, I meant to say this before, was in issue 4 when Moriarty and Moran were talking about his plan, and he wanted to turn Moran into a zombie. And Moran was like, "No effing way, I'm out of here." But Moriarty goes, Moran is telling him, "You must be crazy. I don't understand why you want to do this to me." And Moriarty goes, "I'm a reanimated corpse with a barely reigned craving for human flesh, and now you question my sanity." That's a great quote.
This is the stuff you get in good tales from London.
Yeah. Oh wait, we should say who wrote this. We haven't mentioned the author.
Oh, I'm terrible at that things.
Yeah, me too. So this was written by Ian Edginton, and most of the art is by, I think it's David Davide Fabri. Ooh, Italian. Fabbri.
I like his airspray.
Me too. See? So anyway, back to Holmes. Just mic dropped and said, "Burn the city."
Burn it. And he goes, I'll take care of Moriarty. And Mike is like, okay, let the people decide. And they decide, yeah, they're going to bring in the gunboats to blow it down. Well, Holmes goes back to figure out where Moriarty might be in. So he uses his sleuthing skills. They end up tracking him to a place on the Thames and a wharf. But it turns out it's not Moriarty. It's a spent leftover what?
It's an automaton.
An automaton!
It all ties together.
And through which Moriarty is looking and controlling everything, and he raises some zombies to attack him as a trap. But Holmes has already figured this out. But they first start captain zombies, but they also need to take out the automatons. So Holmes, like a badass, uses his baritsu skills and chops him to the eyes and knocks him out. Do you know about the martial art that is baritsu?
I don't. Please enlighten me.
Fascinatingly, I had to Google this. I was like,
Ooh.
this is a gentleman's martial art established by an Englishman in the late 1800s based on jiu-jitsu that incorporated other martial art forms from around the world that related to the Victorian man at this time. So it not only taught you karate chops and kicks and things, but it taught you how to use your walking cane and bowler hat on how to fight people. And it's a corruption, but the last name's guy was Barton in jiu-jitsu, so he called it after himself, Baritsu. And he, and the best part is the way he developed this martial art and to determine that it was finally a form worth teaching, he would get in street tough fights.
Oh, nice. So it was like he is the art of the eye poke, essentially.
Yes.
So he trained Ric Flair, is what we're saying.
He trained Ric Flair and the Three Stooges.
Sweet.
It's basically Three Stooges moves. It's whoop, 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 look down and poke him in the face.
What about the drop to your knee, forearm to the groin?
Yes.
Is that him too?
All
Nice.
the classics.
Oh, so what is the name of the hideout that they find this automaton in?
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, it was called Castor and Pollux Drop Forging.
Oh, named after the mythical twins, Castor and Pollux. Castor
Right.
being the horseman, and I believe Pollux was the boxer. So we get a little bit of boxing in this.
Yeah, I
Or
figured the
both.
classics major in you would appreciate that.
Yes. I may have a degree in something where something.
Well, hey, you went to the top party school in the nation. That's what it's about.
I may be able to read Latin at some time. So, London's necropolis, they get the automaton, they crack the code, and they track Moriarty down to where's he held up again? Where did he go?
Oh, he went to the palace.
He went to Buckingham Palace because he wants to be the Lord of the Dead, and he wants to use, of course, London has a springboard to take over not all of England, but all of the world and make it in his image so he can rule the dead. He has gone power hungry mad because he is Moriarty, no longer cares about living or anything. It's just power.
And so, we have the face off between Holmes and Moriarty's a zombie. So, what is the first thing you would expect Moriarty, the zombie, to do in a fight?
I expect him to go for the brains.
Right. Right. So he pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Zombies can't use guns.
I know. It's like, what is a zombie using a gun for? What the heck?
Because he's been watching Watson be crackalacking.
Right.
He knows he needs to get his gat with them. He's like, God dang it, I'm a zombie, but I'm carrying, I'm packing, I'm strapped.
Yeah, when
Never,
I read that, I was like, "This is awesome."
and he takes Sherlock off guard because Sherlock didn't expect him to be strapped.
Right? Yeah. So, like mines, I didn't expect that either.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, Sherlock was ready for him, but Sherlock doesn't carry a gun, and he's too far away for the saber. What has Sherlock got?
Well, Sherlock, well, if I'm remembering correctly, he just like rips off his arm and breaks his knees. Like, you're dying, you're
Not
decomposing.
before. Before,
Oh,
so
before he has a grenade.
yeah, zombie Moriarty brought a gun to a grenade fight, and
Yeah,
Sherlock
Sherlock Holmes loves grenades. He
loves
does.
doesn't
He
like
has them
guns,
everywhere.
but loves to blow things up.
Right.
Loves the
Right.
kaboom. Already said, already mic drop, blow up London. Now I'm gonna blow up Moriarty. Drops
I
a
know
grenade.
so that's a theme that runs through all of these Victorian undead stories is Sherlock Holmes and his grenades.
which which should actually be another book in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have something more on that for sure.
Where did Sherlock discover his love of grenades? So yeah, he blows them up. They get in a fight. Holmes breaks out his baritsu and breaks down Moriarty. Eventually, cuts off his head, and then he calls in the big bombs from the boats to take out Buckingham Palace and lay waste to London. And Watson and Holmes get out safely, of course. But that's where we end, but not before we find out what KMAC.
Well, they couldn't find Moriarty's head after he cut it off, and we find out that Moriarty actually survived and was working down in the catacombs doing something else.
Yep, he found his heads reattached and everything. Another interesting thing I found out just before we close out this series is they bring it up in the spy masters when they're in the Buckingham Palace that they've caught foreign spies stealing zombie parts.
In which they did in this one?
Yeah, and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
they caught foreign spies stealing zombie parts. How do I get in that line of work?
I know. I know.
Gotta get over there, get us some zombie parts. Because we like what's going on in London around with all the zombies. We got to get some of
I
that.
know. Yeah, it's a good thing to have to weaponize for sure.
Yeah. So overall, though, this is like I said, we all kind of know what's going to happen once you figure out it's Moriarty, but it's a rip roaring good time. You know, if you like the steampunk genre and you like zombies and you like Sherlock Holmes, I really enjoy just it's a real page turner. I think I did it all in an hour, flipping through all the books, and I really enjoyed it, especially when we get the grenades and the baritsu.
Yeah, me too. It was a quick read and it was a lot of fun. You didn't really have to think a lot when you're reading it,
No.
which, it's good to have reads like that from time to time. But yeah, it was fast and fun.
And just having discussed this, drinking my bust head makes me think of busting zombie heads while drinking this beer because it's that good. I could bust a number of heads, and it is, like I said, it is as close to a real English bitter as you can get made in the United States, which is pretty awesome, and especially that it's local. Purposely, I went out to the brewery one time just to have it because I had tried it at a beer festival, and yeah, good stuff at the brewery. But this is as a flagship beer, which is rare that you get like an English pale ale like this, an English bitter beer. But it's pretty solid.
Nice. Yes, my unholy pairs really well with the killing of unholy zombies.
what's what is it going to taste like? What's that beer tasting like? Actually, what is it? Malty? Is it sweet? Is it bitter?
It's
Watery?
I'm so bad at
Brainy?
I'm so bad at describing tasting
Grenady?
beers. I think it's a little malty
Okay.
because it's not sweet. And like I said, I thought it was going to be
Usually, yeah. Usually, if it's high percentage alcohol, they're maltier.
yeah. So it's malty, but it's good. It's pretty smooth. Um, and like I said at the beginning, I thought I had this one before, but I haven't had this beer before because I expected it to be something completely different. But it's
Now,
really
do you
good.
know you've not had the beer before, or just that you've had a 9% beer now and you can't remember what you've had before?
Well, that's a good point. I I may have had it before and not remember having it before either.
Or are
Um,
you a zombie and just forgotten everything you talk about? Names.
yeah.
Names.
Oh, brains.
Now, why can zombies say brains but can't say anything else? Like,
They're just so tasty.
is eating brains allow them to remember that one verbal word? Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
because they eat other, the modern zombies eat other parts of flesh. They don't
Right.
just eat the brains. But classic zombies, brain addicts.
Right. The drive for brains is so strong
Yeah.
that they can't say anything else.
Take that, zombie Shakespeare.
Yeah. So the scene where they were in the underground really reminded me of The Walking Dead, where they were just like hacking away at these zombies, but getting surrounded and couldn't do anything.
With the exception of them not being greasy, dirty looking.
Yeah.
Them looking like proper English gentlemen in tweed and corduroy and staying pip upper lip the whole time.
Yeah. They don't look like they're from the woods in Georgia.
No. All sweaty and nasty and hadn't taken a bath in a while.
Right. And the scene where the zombies were like where London had fallen remind me a lot of that first episode, or I think it was the first episode of The Walking Dead where Atlanta fell,
Yeah.
where they showed what Atlanta looked like after the fall. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good story.
So, Rick or Sherlock, who do you want in the zombie apocalypse with you?
I'll probably take Rick.
See, you're a realist.
Yeah,
You think
yeah,
Rick's
I'm a
going to get you through it? Some redneck from Georgia is going to get you through it. Carl.
Yeah, well, Carl's not. How far along are you on that show?
I walked all the way up to the Negan episodes, and then it's like, yeah.
All right, me too. Yeah, so I've watched up to like where they're having the big war with Negan's people, and then I haven't watched any since.
Yeah. And
But
I read the books up basically to there. So
Oh, me too. Yeah, about the same.
Yeah.
This is the last season coming up, so I may catch up and finish it off.
Well, I'm choosing Sherlock because I like corduroy and tweed, and I know he knows where to get a proper pint, even in the apocalypse.
True, and you can wear your steampunk costume too.
Yeah, I could have all my goggles, and he wouldn't make fun of me.
No,
he would call me the brewist because of my love of beer and my ability to make beer. Or the libationist.
But now those weren't the only Victorian undead stories that.
No, the success, roll them out. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ian Edgington wrote a couple of others. So the next one is there's a one shot. It's Sherlock Holmes versus Jekyll and Hyde from December of 2010. So is this before? No, it's after. Just after. So
it happened right after it.
That's right.
Immediately
they reference the story.
Yeah, immediately right after the rebuilding London, and it's referenced that they were doing all the things that they had proposed to do to London, but they realized they couldn't do because they couldn't knock things down. But now they have the ability, like these historical developments they wanted to do. So in the comic book steampunk world, they were able to do it, and they were showing them, and it would make all the steampunk people gasp if they saw the big statues and stuff they were proposing.
Oh, hey, let's backtrack. Let's backtrack a little bit because you were mentioning your Latin before, right?
Yes.
Okay, so at the end of the zombie
I'm
story,
not going to know what you're going to say.
At the end of the zombie story, Sherlock says, "Sic semper tyrannis."
That means "in such to all tyrants." So it is the state motto of Virginia, and more famously, it is what John Wilkes Booth said after he shot Abraham Lincoln and jumped from the balcony onto the stage.
What a jerk!
Yes, and such always the tyrants.
Yeah. So he was probably talking about Moriarty when he said that.
Was John Wilkes Booth a zombie?
Well, yeah. Like, because they didn't really kill him, right?
Because he broke his leg and he walked away. Like, he jumped off and survived. So.
Obviously undead.
Most likely undead. And we knew Abraham Lincoln fought vampires.
Oh, he did. That's right.
And I wouldn't put it past the vampires to hire a zombie to take out.
All ties together.
Yes.
It's clear as day.
To take out. That was in 1865 now. So they could have got the vampires over from London. Zombies over from London.
Yeah.
Because there were spies maybe Confederate spies taking those zombie bits.
Right. And we know Moriarty didn't die.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is obviously what happened. All right. Back to where we were.
We broke it right here, kids, on Comic Books and Cold Ones. John Wilkes Booth, zombie.
Mind blown.
So we're back to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Sherlock Holmes takes him on. This is a one-shot, pretty quick read. It's okay. It really serves as a bridge story for the next story. But you find out there's it opens up with some guy in a flea bottom area of London, basically like Whitechapel, tears apart a little girl who's a little match girl, and
you'd be nice to Whitechapel.
Yeah, they man, I get hungry every time I hear that. Oh, that's White Castle.
White Castle.
So, but no, they Sherlock Holmes has to do some sleuthing because they think it's his father that destroyed the kid, because they find out that the dad has like 10 kids, and he cashes a check from a Mr. Dr. Jekyll for the death of his daughter, and they think he sold the kid. They don't know what happened, but Sherlock Holmes sleuths a little more and goes and meets up with Dr. Jekyll, and they start researching it a lot more, and they start tracking him and following him, and they find out Mr. Dr. Jekyll has some weird goings on, because they go to visit him, and they hear some rabble-rouser yelling at him to go away, and they come back and they ask the butler about that, and Dr. Jekyll said, "Oh, that was just Mr. Hyde. He helps me lift the heavy things." And
the butler doesn't know who Mr. Hyde is, though.
And he's like, "Who the hell's Mr. Hyde? It's just me helping out."
So, gonna be straight with everyone here. I didn't really read this issue, so Yek's doing a good job.
Slacker.
And I poured myself another unholy.
You already through your first one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really smooth 9 ABV for sure. Holy crap.
Yeah. This is going to be a good final covering of the last books. But
I'm excited.
This is a bridge story, so we find out they eventually track out Dr. Jekyll when he turns into Mr. Hyde, track him down to an alley. Holmes had figured out from investigating his lab after it all got busted up, when they come back to confront Dr. Jekyll about the information they found, that they think he was the one involved, or his Mr. Hyde was the one, his employee was involved in killing the little girl, and they find out some used syringes that were full of formaldehyde, and they think Mr. Hyde's been juicing himself on formaldehyde of some kind. Holmes figures out, it's not Dr. Jekyll, it's not Mr. Hyde that's been juicing himself, but it's really Dr. Jekyll who turns into Mr. Hyde. And they get into an epic fight with Mr. Hyde in an alley with, of course, Watson. Of course, what does Watson do?
He shoots him.
He busts out his gun and starts capping.
Shoots him in the face, doesn't he?
He shoots him in the face and takes out a big chunk of the side of his head. And of course, Mr. Hyde's all, just like in the Marvel comics, the Mr. Hyde, same is a juggernaut of a beast, and takes it, knocks down Dr. Watson and says, "Take that, doctor, heal your damn self," to something to that effect. Doctor to doctor talking about healing each other. Holmes whacks him with the sword, and it hasn't sticking out of his side. And in kind of a moment of clarity, Holmes eventually is able to stick a syringe in him and give him the dose. And you hear Dr. Jekyll comes back and strives himself out of Mr. Hyde, and you find out that years ago, Dr. Jekyll had developed mania and split his personalities, because he was a psychologist, and as he was studying, he cracked under the pressure of doing it. And so he had split personalities, where Mr. Hyde was his id and going out and consuming all the lustful things in life. And then he was coming back. The only way he could control it was he went to find a Chinese herbalist, and he got a special concoction to control this mental break. And he was coming back from it, and he got attacked from zombies. But when the zombies started biting him down, he was able to fend them off, and he went home to die. But he found out the concoction that he was taking from the herbalist had given him immunity to the zombie bite. But when he transformed to Mr. Hyde, he became zombie Mr. Hyde.
Ooh, wow.
As long as he had the concoction, he could go back to being normal Dr. Jekyll.
So this isn't just your normal Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This actually combines the zombie story into it as well. Interesting.
Yeah. That was kind of the cool thing, is that they bridged it over. And so he becomes, a zombie Dr. Hyde. and
So why did he kill the girl?
because Mr. Hyde just likes to kill because he's a zombie, so he bites her and destroys her.
Okay, and then Jekyll sent the check because he felt guilty.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, all right,
And that's how
that's
they
kind of
tracked
what I
him down.
thought. All right,
Yeah.
so Jekyll kind of gave himself away there.
That was the tip is like, why is her dad cashing a check for £100 after his daughter died? Well, what's the deal with that? And they thought he had sold his daughter to something and got ravaged, and they figured out. And Holmes is like, no, no one would ever do that. Even bad dads love their kids. They wouldn't do that.
Right, he's like a fox in a chicken coop.
Yes, that was the expression he used.
Yeah,
He's gonna take the money if he's got the money.
right on.
Victorian London. Times is hard.
I know, £100. Think of all the like kidneys and whatever you could buy with that.
Kiddery. Have you ever seen Oliver Twist? Have you seen Great Expectations? Times
Please,
is
sir,
hard.
may I have another?
Yeah, times is hard. But this is the Briggs book to get us over to. I think it was a good idea to do one shot instead of trying to do a 6-part story with this one. I thought that worked.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there was enough for a 6-part story in this one.
Oh, I forgot my favorite thing there. The Mister. I just wanted to, just like we had some other English terms. I didn't know this one. In the big fight with Mr. Hyde, Mr. Hyde calls Sherlock a jack in office. And at first, I thought he was referencing the fact that Mr. Sherlock just at 221B just jacks it off in the office. I was like, is this like some stuff? But no, this is an actual English term for somebody that is a self-important person, but a minor official. Self-important to himself, but a minor official.
Oh, interesting. So what is that again?
Jack in office.
Jack in office. All right, I will have to use that.
I would assume it comes from jacking off in the office, though.
Probably. So along those lines, Watson likes to say, "What the deuce?"
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So I've been thinking, what is he just like? Like, is he talking about like taking a dump, like doing a number 2? So I researched that, and it means what the devil.
Yeah.
What's a common term?
Who else in fiction land likes to say "what the deuce"?
I don't know who.
A little baby child by the name of Stewie on the Family Guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his catchphrase. What the deuce?
Oh, okay. Interesting. It's been a long time since I watched Family Guy.
Yeah. So kids out there, go get yourself some kidneys and kiddery. What the deuce? It's got to be good. You're just a jack in the office anyway, so enjoy. So this bridges us over to our final tale of Victorian Undead, which is KMAC.
Yep, it is Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula.
But
So
bam,
yep.
This is the big one.
It's
the one we all want to hear about, of course. This one's not only been told this time, it's been told a variety of times in fiction. There's actually a book from 1978 called Sherlock's First Dracula, or alternately titled The Adventures of the Sanguine Count, the Sanguine Count, by Lauren D. Esteman. So, and this, of course, has been played out in other media, but this one is the first one in DC, I believe.
Yeah. So that's neat. How there are other stories about this too. I'd never heard of any other encounters between Sherlock and Dracula, but this was
the big two are Sherlock versus Dracula, which is second only to Sherlock versus Jack the Ripper, which takes
that makes
place
sense.
Yeah,
I've heard a few stories. They've had TV shows about that too.
Yes,
I think
TV shows, and also another comic book telling a little book by a little man by the name of Alan Moore, wrote From Hell.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
They made a movie about that, also starring a little lady by the name of Heather Graham.
Yes. So who else was in that? Someone else famous, right?
I can't remember who played Sherlock in that.
Yeah. From Hell.
I actually can't remember if it's Sherlock in the book, but it is. I think it is.
Oh, Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Johnny Depp. Yep. He doesn't play Sherlock Holmes. He plays another investigator, but that's kind of like Sherlock.
Interesting. Alan Moore. I bet he's written some other things.
Just
he might be, maybe. Yeah. He might be someone who might have a podcast coming up here or there.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. Who knows?
At some point.
So Victorian Undead 2, Sherlock Holmes versus
Kick it
Dracula.
off.
Yep, January 2011. We start off. It's 1900 now, so it's about 2 years roughly after the start of the zombie incident in London. They're rebuilding London. It looks pretty good. It's nice. All the steampunk elements coming into play. You have this ship which appears to be out of control, but it somehow beaches itself nicely on shore.
A ghost ship.
A ghost ship. Yes.
Boogity.
Yes, that's the first thing. So the captain.
Scarier, ghost ship or ghost car?
Where is this ghost car?
Ghost car on the highway.
That's scarier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you, like for a hitchhiker or just for
just a ghost car, just driving along with nobody driving.
Yeah, I'd say that's scary because when are you going to be like? I'm never on a ship. That's never going to happen to me. Ghost car in the water, pretty scary.
Double boogity.
Yes. Yes. So the captain is tied to the steering, the ship's steering wheel, for lack of a better term. I'm not a sailor.
You're not a seaman.
I'm not a seaman.
Arr.
Arr, you got me. Arr. Arr. So I don't remember if the captain was dead, but all the crew is dead.
Dead. Just like in a little book by the name of Dracula by Bram Stoker.
Right, and this story mirrors that story a lot as well, doesn't it?
Eventually, they meld right into one book. So we do follow. This does happen in the Dracula book, where this ship, named the Demeter, Roman goddess of harvest, but also appears in the actual Bram Stoker Dracula book, and how he gets there and runs ashore in London. But instead of following the Dracula story, we kick it off with a little band by the name of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson getting called to a little insurance house by the name of Lloyd's of London.
Yeah, I think they might still be around and they're doing okay.
They do okay. They used to be, when they started out, they just insured shipments and boats and things like that. Not cool things like they do like now, which are things like Beyonce's booty.
Right, or like an athlete's arm.
Yes.
Yeah, they were just a nautical or a maritime insurer at that point.
Which Beyonce's booty is a way better thing to be in the insurance business for, because you have to take the specs on that.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to know if it's been damaged?
Yeah, because I don't want to measure a ghost ship. That's scary.
Yeah, they probably had J-Lo's too, right?
Yeah, I think they did do J-Lo's booty. That I should take it back. They didn't do Beyonce. I do believe they did J-Lo's booty. It's one of the things they insured at one time. Famous for insuring random things. But they call on Sherlock and Watson because the guys at Lloyd's want to find out what happened to the crew, because they sponsor the crew. The ship was taken over by the Russian consul, because it's a Russian boat flying out of Varna, which is in Bulgaria on the Black Sea shore, and it comes from Varna, which is next to Romania, carrying the Count of Dracula.
Right. So we know we're dealing with fiction when the insurance company wants to know what happened to the people to tell the families.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's money.
They're proper and quick on an insurance claim. This is fantastic.
Right. Yeah. What, like, I get it. You're supposed to believe this stuff sometimes, but you have to keep it within the bounds of reality just a little bit.
On a scale of 4, rate these: most believable, zombies, Dracula, a Mr. Hyde character, a concerned insurance adjuster.
Right. Yes.
Rate those in order.
Least likely, insurance carrier.
Insurance adjuster. I'm going Mr. Hyde. I think somebody could dope themselves up.
Right.
Dracula, zombies. I don't think the dead can go back, but somebody can be addicted to blood.
True. I think that between zombie and Dracula could be a tie, because I think there might be some viruses or bacteria out here that we haven't dealt with yet that could.
But I think of all those undead, insurance adjuster.
Right, for sure.
A concerned insurance adjuster is the least likely of the undead.
Never going to happen.
We'll suck more life out of you than the all three combined.
Right, already a vampire for sure.
Already a vampire, already undead, scrambling for brains. already a Two-Face.
Oh, so that was probably what they were trying to get at here, is Lloyd's of London is comprised of all the villains of these stories
in one that she
in one.
that's the subtle take that she didn't pick up on.
That's what we bring you here with this podcast. Those great subtle takes.
Things that you didn't see the first time you read. And so Sherlock Holmes and them are sent out to investigate. They follow up with the Russians who took possession of the boat, as well as the people who took possession of the crates, which turned out to be scientific earth, is what they were shipping over. As we know, Dracula has to sleep on his own dirt, but this is one of the rare kind of twists that they kind of happen, that the people that actually take possession of the scientific earth get a little bubonic plague.
Right, but it's not the normal bubonic plague. No. It's a quick acting and then quickly dispersing bubonic plague. It seems like they get it real fast, but it's not contagious from them necessarily right away.
And Dr. Watson's the one who observes this, and they figure it is from the scientific earth, that it's a biological agent.
Right. And then gypsies attack. Don't you hate that?
We can't go anywhere without the gypsies.
I know. But gypsies not only attack, different gypsies rescue. So it's very balanced.
You get double gypsy action.
Yes. You get the good gypsies and the bad gypsies. You get balanced gypsies.
You get double gypsy action, fighting it out. Sherlock and Watson, of course, get knocked out. The good gypsies save them, and they wake up in a gypsy camp, as per the case when you get taken by gypsies. Right. And you find out that...
so how many times have you woken up in a gypsy camp?
In my life, 3.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Well, I think I woke up in a gypsy camp when I went to visit Georgia Tech once.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure.
There's a time the girl put a spell on me. There was when I was cheating at the cards. and the other time I was in search of 2 twins that were mutants.
Yeah. Those all sound like times where one would wake up in gypsy camps.
This is what happens. So, but we find out that the gypsies that attack weren't really gypsies. They were, and I want Kevin to say this word.
Oh God. Okay, so I think it's Saganzis.
Opa.
Saganzi. Hey.
We can't tell if they for sure are the same as the flaming cheese.
Right.
Or it's a dish from Ron Minnie's macaroni grill. Right.
And so the good gypsies are the Romanis. So yes, they're the macaroni grills.
Yeah, they're the macaroni.
So the Romani after this, they migrated to the United States, started their own restaurant chain. They're doing very well.
Yes. But they are bound, the Romani are, to track in and defend against Dracula. The Saganzis are the overlord, the
minions,
the thralls of Lord Vlad Tepes, Dracula, from going way back. He uses as his henchmen.
They call him his get.
Yes,
he got them.
Yes, got them good.
Yeah,
and so we find that out, and all shenanigans go all crazy when Sherlock gets informed about. Right then, they get told about the story of Lord Dracula.
Right, and who tells them?
The queen of the gypsies, who wears this veil that makes her look like a bee, makes her look like the queen bee, which is Boogity in of itself.
Right, that's pretty creepy.
I'm scared of bee face people. Zombies, not so much. Bee face people, kind of scared of.
All right, so what's scarier, ghost car or bee face person driving a car?
Bee face person driving a car.
I agree. Bee-faced person doing anything.
Bee-faced people are pretty scary because they can look at you wherever you're standing.
Right. There's so many eyes. They're always looking at you.
And then you're like,
Ugh.
are you going to try to pollinate me? I don't want to be pollinated.
No, no. Oh.
It's intense.
Yeah, so she does her ritual and says Dracula's in town. And then the end of the issue is super dapper Dracula visiting the Queen at Buckingham Palace. It's like, wow, nice.
And you find out the backstory of why he's visiting is supposedly he has a cure to the rare blood disease of Queen Victoria and all the royal family, because they're all a bunch of inbreds with all the other royals in Europe.
Yeah.
Kids, here's a little advice: mix up that gene pool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mix it up good.
Mix it up good, because if you don't, if the debilitating genetic diseases don't kill you, the undead Lord of the Undead will come to take over your empire.
It's happened right here.
Yes. I can't say which is more likely, but I'm gonna put them both on even keel, even par.
All right. And so now, after they leave the gypsy camp, they head over to find this special earth, and they bump into some friends. They bump into Van Helsing and Van Helsing's gang.
The Van
Just out of
Helsing
nowhere.
team, straight out of Bram Stoker's Dracula. You get all the good guns. You get my man, Professor Von Helsing from Amsterdam, talking about making pancakes and stabbing Dracula in the heart. The foremost expert on Nosferatu. You get a little man by the name of Dr. Seward, who is a student of Von Helsing. You get the awesome, wild, crazy-eyed Texan Quincy Morris, and of course the star of the Dracula books, Jonathan Harker. And we actually eventually get a shout out to some movies with him in it, but that's the crew as we see it, that they're hunting Dracula.
Right. I like to call Big Tex mustache cowboy hat guy. He's my favorite. I love mustache cowboy hat guy.
He's because they patterned him off of Sam Elliott.
Yeah, that makes sense. He has the handlebar mustache.
Put pictures of Sam Elliott up there. Just draw him. Sam Elliott versus Dracula. Who wins? Ooh. Sam Elliott from Big Lebowski versus Dracula. I'll give you a specific Sam.
Ooh. Can he have Big Tex's silvered knife?
I will give. I will give the narrator of the Big Lebowski the silvered knife.
I will go with Sam Elliott then.
I will too, because at any moment he can call in the dude to help out, because the dude abides.
Right. And badass in Tombstone, don't forget.
The mustache alone.
Like, the mustache gives so much power. Yeah. I mean, Dracula can't overcome that kind of power. No way.
They team up and they're tracking down.
Dracula can't even grow a mustache.
This is true.
No, he can't.
He can only grow a beehive head here.
I know. I mean, like, he just so the things that kill vampires, right? You have like holy water, garlic, sunlight. You have stake through the heart. You have silver, and you have handlebar mustache.
The most
like Sam Elliott is the ultimate vampire killing machine.
I will. So, aside, a movie I watched a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Little unknown. Okay, movie. I don't want to give it because this isn't our movie review podcast, which we don't have yet. But Sam Elliott stars in a movie.
Coming up though, kids.
Yeah, he stars in a movie literally called "The Man Who Killed Dracula." I know, "The Man Who Killed Hitler," and then Bigfoot.
What? Sam Elliott?
Yes.
Nice.
It's not his tongue in the cheek. It's actually kind of dour, but he does kill both Hitler and Bigfoot in the same movie. It's worth a watch, kids. I mean, it's like the first movie with this director, but it's more of a personal, it's Sam Elliott being the star. It's like really personal to him.
Oh, it sounds to me like the movie. What's the movie where Bruce Campbell is Elvis and he has to fight a mummy?
Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, and the guy believes he's JFK.
Yes. That is a good movie.
Yes, it's in the same vein. Yeah, the same vein. Same kind of
Okay.
camera angles and all those things too. But of course,
Mo-
Sam Elliott is a mustache wearing badass.
yes. Now, everyone, if you want us to do a second podcast for movie reviews, send those emails, send
Bring
those
him in.
tweets.
Cinema and cold ones could be another podcast.
Ooh, it might be.
But going forward with this one,
Yes.
the
Digression.
Van Helsing crew has joined up with the Sherlock crew, straight out of both two fictional worlds, and they're going into a castle where they just decided they know where Dracula's been laying down, and they've tracked down at least a little baby by the name of Lucy, who was the object of the eye of Dr. Seward, and also Quincy from the Dracula book, who got turned into a vampire immediately, and so that's the person they're tracking down. Unlike the Dracula book, Dracula has killed Mina Harker, who Jonathan Harker was married to. Jonathan recounts his tale of meeting Dracula in Romania, and they do a little back and forth. This is one of the cool parts. One of the ways they track down Dracula's living is that they hired Jonathan Harker, who was an obscure country solicitor, instead of some big time guy from London as an attorney. And they figure out they've been using him to buy Dracula's been using him to buy land. And that's the reason when they hired him was because he knew it'd be under the radar of the London set, namely Mycroft himself.
And then he got out there and he found Dracula and he was like, whoa.
Whoa. So, for the kids that don't know, in a little movie called Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, the part of Jonathan Harker was played by one Keanu Reeves. They actually have a shout out to a scene from that movie where Gary Oldman, who plays Dracula, is shaving Keanu Reeves in the movie, and they show it in the book, this comic book here, which is kind of cool. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
eventually, unlike the movie, unlike the books, Mina Harker actually ends up dead, killing herself instead of turning into a vampire, which happens. That's the big love story in the Dracula book. So they go hunting the Dracula, and they go hunting the Lucy, and they end up in this castle, and then they run into the brides of the brides of Dracula. It's not Frankenstein. It's another
Right.
story
Brides of Dracula plus Lucy.
Plus Lucy, who is a new bride of Dracula, or thinks Dracula thinks she's gonna be a bride.
Right. And they kind of surprised them jumping down from the ceiling. Then and Van Helsing's people are pretty good at hunting vampires at this point. So they pretty much dispense with the three brides pretty quickly.
Start dropping
And
holy water. Start dropping crosses.
right,
Start
silvered
dropping
knives.
silver knives.
And Lucy's like, wait a second. I don't really want to fight you guys. I am a modern woman's vampire.
And they first tried to use a cross on her, and she goes,
I don't believe in that stuff.
for that to work, you have to actually believe in the faith behind it, both sides. And she's like, I'm from Victorian London. I go shopping. Forget that
Right.
shit.
She's like, in my regular life, I would just be having babies, but now that I'm a vampire and I live forever, I don't care about any of this stuff. Let me out of here.
All I heard when I was reading this is all the single ladies, put your hands up, put your hands up. And literally the whole Von Helsing and Sherlock crew couldn't do anything because the Beyonce was playing.
Right. Right. They were just frozen.
They were like, I can't argue with her. Because they're ready to deal with vampires and vamps and lady vampires. They ain't ready to deal with modern single ladies. Their club game got shut down pretty hardcore.
Right. So now they're at a dead end. They don't have Dracula. They thought he'd be there. His coffin's gone. And they figure, since we've kind of unraveled Dracula's plan here, we've gotten rid of his plague earth, and he's not here with his other brides. We bet he's at the palace.
Yep.
So they rush off to the palace and they call Mycroft on the way.
Sherlock had reasoned that being a true blue blood and count, that he would want to be with the royals, and that's his end game. He wants to get over. I will make an amendment. The reason they had hired Jonathan Harker, it was actually the Crown that had hired him, because they were searching out for possible cures for the blood diseases of the royals, and they hired, not to raise any eyes in London, they were hired Jonathan Harker to investigate other royals around Europe for this, and they found this wildly old guy in Romania and Transylvania that was Dracula.
Yeah, because at
And
that
so
point,
Mycroft,
Dracula
yeah,
hadn't been um, hadn't been on the forefront. He'd really just been refined to living in his castle and not really being that big of a deal. But then when Harcroft came, he realized, wait, I can probably get back into this. I'm powerful, and I could probably
I get
take
my
control of
strut
all these
on.
people.
I get my strut on.
Right.
I'm gonna take over this new modern world. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
he develops this plan that he's going to bite all the royals, namely taking out Queen Victoria at the time. And they post haste go to Buckingham Palace in a carriage and almost breaking down the doors, but Mycroft welcomes them. And Sherlock's like, clean out the house. But he's like, we can't do that because a little man by the name of Prince Albert is having his engagement party to another royal from Europe. And all the royals in Europe are here in costume.
It's perfect for Dracula.
No. And so they can't really find the Dracula easily. So how do they find the Dracula?
Well,
Camp?
they break up pieces of Eucharist and they put it in. I think it's wine bottles, and then Mycroft
They
gives a
spike all the
toast to the.
champagne with holy wafers. Does that get you more drunk? Does the body of the Lord and Savior get me more drunk?
Probably less drunk. I would say
Less
less drunk.
drunk, and
Yeah,
it just burns if you're a Lord of the Dark.
right. He needs to have some antacids. I would
Yes.
imagine that would take care of it. But we are talking about, London 1900. They're probably not as prevalent
Yeah.
then as they are now.
So they
So,
observe who doesn't drink the wine, and they find a guy dressed as a Bedouin, and it
and
is Dracula.
surprise, it's Dracula, right? Who would have thought? They found him. Hooray! Hooray! But even though they found him, he still gets to the queen, and he bites the queen and takes off.
He didn't just bite the queen; he bites the whole, like, half the side of her neck off.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Because he's like, deal with the madness now, you crazy ninny lawyer, you royalist, and Sherlock. And for all these steampunks out there, Sherlock steps up to try to take him out, and Sherlock gets called a paladin by
Yeah.
Dracula, and that's a shout out to all you D&D fans out there. So they take off. Dracula turns into a bat, flies off, but Sherlock and Quincy Morris
No,
jump
wait.
on the back of it to take him
No,
down.
it's a mustache cowboy hat guy.
His mustache cowboy hat. and
He's my favorite.
and they cut the wings off, or they damage the wings of the vampire Dracula bat, crashes him into a building. Mustache cowboy hat guy does
Yes.
not take the blow well. Sherlock
No,
Holmes,
he
of
does.
course, easily shields himself from the fall. Mustache cowboy hat dies an epic Texas death and gives him the silver Bowie knife to Sherlock to fight Dracula. And how does that battle go, KMAC?
Oh man, so Sherlock Holmes has some mad battle skills. He knocks down some wood and the wood comes down and pierces Dracula's heart, and then he just cuts his head off. It's like, and then he walks away. It's no big
Bam.
deal for Sherlock Holmes. 2 panels, Dracula's dead. That's it.
How many panels did it take him to take out Zombie Moriarty?
It took him more panels than that, I think,
Yeah.
because he had to. So he had the for Zombie Moriarty. First, he got shot. Then he threw grenades. Then he ripped off his arm. Then he broke his knee. Then he cut off his head. So it took like 4 or 5 panels for Zombie Moriarty, but 2 panels for the Lord of the Undead, Dracula.
Bam.
That's it. He should have just walked away. Mic drop, walk away. That's
Outro, boys.
it. I'm out.
Burn it.
I'm Sherlock.
I got my silver knife.
It's like, Dracula, why'd you even bother?
I don't
Like,
play.
you should have known you were coming up against me, Sherlock Holmes. You got no chance.
Paladin, bitch.
Right? Silvered knife. That's it.
And of course, we transition back to Buckingham Palace. They don't talk about mustache cowboy hat guy. What happened to him? picked
except
up
that
his
he's just
body.
dead.
He's
That
just
he's
dead,
dead.
and he's dead next to the undead.
And then, so in a nice surprise twist, it wasn't Queen Victoria that was bitten by Dracula. It was a
What?
retired act. Yeah, I
Come
know. Can
again?
you believe it? Yeah, it was a retired actress as her body double, but they really don't care that she's dying. It's like, oh, well, she's had a good career.
They're like, save the queen, yeah. And she did so wonderfully by getting her neck tore off.
I know. Oh,
It was
poor
so
lady.
believable when she was getting her neck tore off that she was the queen.
Oh,
The English, yeah, very loyal to the queen. Don't care so much about the rebel rouser once you're dead. Once you're dead,
right. And these stories are just for fun, so
yeah.
there's not enough time for sadness or wondering about all these dead characters. Oh,
They're rip roaring good times if you haven't read them. I
yeah.
like I said, I'm a fan of the triple bill for the genre. There, I enjoy some of the steampunk, but I always like Sherlock Holmes and I like Boogity books, and so especially in October. So these are fun ones to read, and I hadn't read them before, even though they are 10 and 9 years old here, and they're perfect to sit down with your favorite pint of bitter or your favorite stout or porter or whatever you're drinking this time of year uh, that comes from the Emerald Isle.
All right, so let's talk about where's Moriarty. I thought for sure they would bring him back and pair him up with Dracula in this, and they didn't. It looked like he was on the cover of the last issue.
It looked like you think the way they dropped that in the final panel of the first Victorian Undead that yeah they would bring him back. I thought that was part of the illusion for the whole Dr. Jekyll Mr. Hyde is that yeah people are using the zombie juice to zombie juice things, and that
Right.
maybe that's what's going on. But as we remember, maybe there's something going on in the rest of the world that we don't know about. Maybe zombie, all zombie John Wilkes Booth still out there after
Well, that's
1865.
true. I thought for sure they'd tie that in, but I guess it makes sense if you're only, I mean, if you're limited to like 5 or 6 issues, it's a lot to bring in.
I'd really like to see more of these. I think it's an underutilized genre in that in the world of superheroes that these kind of stories in the comic book format are really kind of cool and fun to read. And other veins similar to this, there have you ever read the Five Fists of Science?
I have not.
Okay, the Five Fists of Science is something after you kids you got to read. It's not. It is post steampunk because it's dealing with. Uh, it's similar to this time, just post turn of the century. But you find out that Mark Twain and Nikola Tesla fall onto a plot of Thomas Edison, J. Paul Getty, Mark Marconi, and all those guys that are also scientists and financiers are trying to bring Cthulhu to the Earth.
Oh no.
Mark Twain and Nikola Tesla have to team up to stop them.
When is Science Appreciation Month?
We'll have to hit that up. It's a good
Yeah, we'll have
tale.
to hit that up.
It's a
That
good.
sounds like
It's the
fun.
similar vein of these, just fun times, weird and rip roaring. But you get Mark Twain with all his one liners, and Nikola Tesla just being a weirdo, but also like being smarter than all the other guys and actually getting kill Cthulhu jazzed up Thomas Edison.
Yeah, I like the drunk history of Edison and Tesla. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny. Have you seen that?
Yes.
It's very good. Very good.
But no, I
Tesla was the electric Jesus.
but similar tales, and that's the reason I support more of these books like this. If we can get more of them, it's awesome. So, if you like this review that we did, please let us know. Beers, how'd you like your beer on the scale of Victorian Undead?
Oh man, so I would give this 5 out of 5 phosphorus magnesium grenades for
Ooh,
sure.
oof.
This might be like, and I don't really ever pick favorites, but this could be my favorite beer. This is so good.
Of the beers that you have drinking for the show, this is maybe your favorite beer you've drinking, or you're saying this is the best beer you've ever drinking?
This is probably in the top 3 to 5 beers I've ever had.
Did you hear that out there in podcast land? This is a beer you have to hit up. KMAC is really suggesting this while we review some really good comic books that this might be one of the best beers he's ever had.
Yeah, I don't usually do that, but this is really good. It's smooth, really high ABV, and it tastes great. It's really good beer.
And you said it was 5 out of 5 phosphorus grenades, Sherlock bombs.
Yeah, phosphorus magnesium grenades. Don't forget the magnesium. It's an important element.
5 out of 5. I similarly, I'm gonna go 4.5. I'll do 4 pounds 50 pence. Uh, of Baritsu Moose for the old Busthead beer. Like I said, it's one of my favorite versions of an American attempt to making a bitter English beer, which are malty, slightly bitter, but not really bitter at all, even though their name's that it is, because it's so English that they say something that isn't really it is. And it is perfect for reading any tales of the macabre coming out of Victorian London, like we read tonight with you guys.
Yeah, this was fun. It's nice to read something, number one, that's not necessarily in the superhero genre, and this is our first foray, right, in this podcast to something outside of the superhero genre. And it's nice to read something that has different fictional characters blended together into these stories. It was a really good read and a good time, and quick read too. So, like we were saying, if you have, just a couple of extra hours, you could blow through all of these stories. They're really easy to read, and they're a lot of fun, and there's not a lot of minutia that you have to necessarily pay attention to and follow,
Yeah,
to a a detailed degree.
you can jump in at any point and read these and be happy and read some books. So with that said, you read anything good right now outside of what we read tonight?
I haven't really read that much lately, but I had, and I wanted to mention this last episode. I went to my local comic book shop, which is called Yancey Street Comics in Oldsmar, Florida, after Everloving Thing and his home street. And I did pick up a few books. I picked up an Image book called "We Only Find Them When They're Dead," which I haven't read yet, but
Okay.
it looks pretty good. It's more of a sci-fi type book. I picked up a Dark Knight's Metal book that I also haven't read yet. So picked up a lot of stuff I haven't read, and a Batman issue with the new Joker sidekick Punchline.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
And I don't believe I've read anything else besides these. And I did watch the new Disney Plus trailer for WandaVision. That looks so cool.
It does.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to do maybe a
Vision and the Scarlet Witch.
big swig going over the Vision Scarlet Witch history and also the miniseries that they're involved in. I think
Right.
that might be something we have to do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. After watching that trailer, I'm pumped to read those again. I haven't read them, gosh, in decades at this point, but I'm looking forward to reading those for sure. What about you? You reading anything?
The only thing I saw on the Unlimited app that they're building something now called like Road to Empire that is covered by a little podcast we did here on our first Big Swig on the Kree Squirrel War that talks about the Kree, the Skrull, and the Kotati. So I'm reading one of the book series that I hadn't read from like 2000 called the Avengers Celestial Quest. That kind of goes back and covers the Celestial Madonna and Thanos. We talked about the Celestial Madonna Mantis in our last podcast when we were talking about Galactus and one of his deaths. But yeah, that covers some things that I didn't know about regarding the intersection of the Celestial Madonna and Thanos. But that's something I know that's coming out in Marvel, but I haven't read anything about that Red Empire. And then mainly focusing on I did not see that coming.
Very important stuff,
I
obviously.
had to watch my not see zombie movies for the month. It's a requirement, or I don't get paid.
Right. And I've been meddling through or slowly trying to get through The Boys, which I've liked so far in season 2, but I'm not caught up yet. So I think this is a good theme for the month of October, where we do 2 episodes that are more obviously Halloween or horror related.
Boogity books and Beer-Tober, bitches.
Right. And maybe we also need to do a big swig on the Kree Skrull War follow-up that includes Empire once all of those issues are released on the Marvel Unlimited.
Yes, that'll be exciting because that is something that we uniquely covered here on Comic Books and Cold Ones, and we brought to you, and we hope we educated you on that lore of the Marvel past, just like we talked about today with the lore and famous things of undead, running into everybody's favorite consulting detective, Sherlock Holmes.
Gosh, these beers are good. So cover prices being what they are, we prefer to read on Marvel Unlimited. Most of our episodes will be about issues and series that have been published for a little while, but are finally available on the app.
So, like I said, we covered these tales of yore. We hope you enjoyed them. Tune in more, suggest some beers to us. As always, we like to talk about the fun things and enjoy some beers here. So we're glad you joined us by the ye old fireside in our local pub, enjoying some fine beers. As always, I'm Yek, and glad to hear you. KMAC send us out here.
Oh yeah, and this is KMAC. Follow us on the social medias that we indicated before. Send us an email if you have any show ideas, and especially if you have any beer ideas or suggestions. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a good night, everyone.
Boogity, bitches.